Annihilation of Caste by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Part 2. But soon, the two wings developed into two parties, a political reform party and a social reform party, between whom there raged a fierce controversy. The political reform party supported the National Congress, and the social reform party supported the Social Conference. The two bodies thus became two hostile camps. The point at issue was whether social reform should precede political reform. For a decade, the forces were evenly balanced, and the battle was fought without victory to either side. It was, however, evident that the fortunes of the social conference were ebbing fast. The gentleman who presided over the sessions of the social conference lamented that the majority of the educated Hindus were for political advancement and indifferent to social reform, and that while the number of those who attended the Congress was very large, the number who did not attend but who sympathized with it was even larger. The number of those who attended the social conference was very much smaller. This indifference, this thinning of its ranks, was soon followed by active hostility from the politicians. Under the leadership of the late Mr. Tilak, the courtesy with which the Congress allowed the social conference the use of its pandal was withdrawn, and the spirit of enmity went to such a pitch that when the social conference desired to erect its own pandal, a threat to burn the pandal was held out by its own opponents. Thus, in the course of time, the party in favor of political reform won, and the social conference vanished and was forgotten. The speech delivered by W. C. Banerjee in 1892 at Allahabad as president of the 8th session of the Congress sounds like a funeral oration on the death of the social conference, and is so typical of the Congress attitude that I venture to quote from it the following extract Mr. Banerjee said, quote, I, for one, have no patience with those who say we shall not be fit for political reform until we reform our social system. I fail to see any connection between the two. Are we not for political reform because our widows remain unmarried and our girls are given in marriage earlier than in other countries? Because our wives and daughters do not drive about with us visiting friends? Because we do not send our daughters to Oxford and Cambridge? Cheers from the audience. Unquote. I have stated the case for political reform as put by Mr. Banerjee. There were many who were happy that the victory went to the Congress, but those who believe in the importance of social reform may ask, is an argument such as that of Mr. Banerjee final? Does it prove that the victory went to those who were in the right? Does it prove conclusively that social reform has no bearing on political reform? It will help us to understand the matter if I state the other side of the case. I will draw upon the treatment of the untouchables for my facts. Under the rule of the Peshwas in the Maratha country, the untouchable was not allowed to use the public streets if a Hindu was coming along, lest he should pollute the Hindu by his shadow. The untouchable was required to have a black thread either on his wrist or around his neck as a sign or a mark to prevent the Hindus from getting themselves polluted by his touch by mistake. In Pune, the capital of the Peshwa, the untouchable was required to carry, strung from his waist, a broom to sweep away from behind himself the dust he trod on, lest a Hindu walking on the same dust should be polluted. In Pune, the untouchable was required to carry an earthen pot hung around his neck wherever he went, for holding his spit, lest his spit falling on the earth should pollute a Hindu who might unknowingly happen to tread on it.